How's it going, everyone? Cool Chris here, doing a video review on Lone Survivor, a game developed by Jasper Byron, hope I pronounced that last name right, a psychological action-adventure thriller game. I'm going to be looking into it, see if it has what it takes to get you, the viewer, to spend $10 whole on it. Let's see. Alright, so for the story of Lone Survivor, let me just start by saying it is a very complicated, complex story that is completely different than what initially shows on the surface. Because how it starts out, you start out with this guy, you wake up, and you have no idea who you are. You're just like, I don't have time to remember my name, forget it. I'm just gonna go by you, or me, whatever. Everyone in the game you encounter just calls you you. They're just like, oh hey you. So you wake up in what seems to be like a post-apocalyptic future, you know, the generic kind, something like 24 hours or days later, that kind of movie where it's like, you wake up, you have no idea what's going on, everything has just gone to hell, everyone is just a zombie, everyone's out to get you, you're just like the lone survivor, what? But yeah, it starts out like that, you have no idea what's going on, and so you get up out of your apartment, and you're just looking around, and you see zombies all around you. And so from that point on, what you're trying to do is just like find other people to get you where you need to go. You're just trying to get out of the city as fast as you can. From the very start of the story, this game immediately presents itself as a very eccentric, completely outlandish style of storytelling. You start out, you have no idea what's going on, it seems like you're in a dream. And you take a sip of coffee and then just everything freaks out and then the game just starts. Throughout the entire game, you have no idea truly what's going on. You kind of get some hints throughout as you progress, but you never truly understand what's going on throughout the entire game until the very end, where you get the possibility of getting one of 3 different endings, being blue, red, or green. All 3 of which are completely different, and they all depend on your mental health throughout the game, which plays a big tie into it. All these things boil up to a really, really superb story, one that is much deeper than it appears on the surface, because I honestly, after I finished playing it, I had no idea what was going on. And so I played through it 2 more times to get both different endings, and I thought I had some kind of an idea, but I was not entirely sure. So I went online, I looked at some other people's like blogs and their opinions, and there kind of was a general consensus as to what the story's main message was, but none of it could be completely true, given that Jasper himself never released like a press statement saying this is what the game was about, and I don't think he ever will. He kind of wants to leave it up to the people, but when you get to the end, you'll probably end up looking at, like interpretation yourself, but until then, go through the game, you won't understand it, but you'll be really curious as to what happens. The story's really good. I don't want to spoil much, but it's very eccentric, and it'll have you really wanting to come back and learn what else is going on. When it comes to gameplay, I would say this game is kind of more adventure than action, because throughout the entire game, you get one primary means of attacking, and it's this small little handgun, which you get ammo for, and which is really important, as it always is in these kind of post-apocalyptic survival games, kind of like Resident Evil or like Dead Space. Ammo is really important. And so in this gameplay, it encourages you not to attack more so than anything, because you get different options when it comes to encountering these zombie-like entities. You can place meat on the ground to just attract their attention, go back and hide and like sidestep them. Given that it's on a 2-dimensional plane, you only have room for, you know, left and right. And the main character, he can't jump, I assume. I know he's Asian, so maybe that has something to do with it. But he never attacks, or he never actually physically attacks with his hands or like a melee weapon. He only gets this handgun. And so throughout the game, you encounter all these zombies, and you have several different ways to handle the situations. You can hide, sneak past them, lay food, lay traps, lay flares down to blind them and just sneak past them. They give a lot of ways to get through the game, and throughout it, there are two main systems this game employs, which are hunger and sleep. Hunger affects, obviously, like how much energy you have, how long you can go on, and sleep also ties in with that too. But they both kind of mend with each other in that when you go to sleep, if you don't have a full stomach, or depending on your hunger level, you'll get better rest, and the better rest you get, the longer you'll be able to travel through the day without getting tired. And if you get too tired without resting, then you'll just collapse and die. I actually never let that happen to me, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you like just die or you start posing it. And another system is like your mental health, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. That you don't really know how you're doing until the end of the game, but I'll let you figure out how well you're doing on your own. When it comes to presentation, the most notable thing definitively is its soundtrack. This game has beautiful scores. Well, I don't know if it's good enough to call it a score, but it has really good pieces in it. Most of which are all of which are completely just like handmade by Jasper, or like some of his other friends who helped him work on this game. All are completely done by them, and all of them are extremely memorable, because during the game you'll be playing and there'll be some music, but it'll be really subtle, like when there's some enemies nearby. They'll set up this kind of creepy, you're being watched, I don't really want to move forward without like taking my gun feeling. And then there's some other parts of the game where it gets really sad. You're like, when did this game start tugging at my heart? When did I let myself love it so much? And it'll really just start tugging at you, and this music really perfectly plays into just your feelings, and it really can get you into it. On top of the sound, obviously it has that 8-bit retro feel. Some people, may inherently be turned off by that, but trust me, it's good that it has that 8-bit feel, because honestly, with like some games that are like really up there, like Dead Space being like one of the biggest like survival horror games. Those games, it's like you see everything in front of you. It leaves nothing to the imagination. It's all completely what the director envisioned. While in a game like this, you see like a zombie. They don't really have faces. They don't really have really detailed like body parts, like fingers or fingernails or fingerprints, if it gets that detailed. And so it leaves a lot of like set pieces, or a lot of like characters you see. It leaves a lot up to your imagination, which, as modern day gamers, we so barely use anymore. And so with that 8-bit look, some people may initially be like turned off or discouraged to play. They're like, it looks kind of cheap, it looks kind of stupid, childish. No, not at all. This game is definitely much more mature. It's of a higher caliber, not meant for kids. Like, a kid could play through it, probably get through it eventually, but he would understand no part of it. He thought it'd just be like, oh, fighting zombies, this is so fun, it's so cool. But no, it's a completely like serious, mature title with a serious and mature story going through it. When it comes to actual like replayability slash like longevity, this game, if you read my review, this game is literally like a really hot chick you see like at a bar, and she's like really tempting. She's kind of looking at you, winking, kind of flirting with you, kind of just like mesmerizing you with her eyes. It's like she brings you over, she like whispers something. Hey, come over here. So you go over there and she starts like kind of getting really close, touching your face. And then out of nowhere, she just disappears. You're just like, where'd you go? What's happening? You see her like off in the corner, you're like, hey, come back here. You start chasing her. She just keeps getting further and further until that moment where she just disappears, and you're just like, I want you back. I want more. That's exactly what this game is like. After you play it, you're not, I promise you, you will have no idea what the story truly meant the very first time. You're gonna want to replay it again at least twice to get the different endings, if not more, just to experience the game again, because it is really good and satisfying to play. Overall, as a whole, Lone Survivor I would consider an excellent game. It not only challenges you to survive and to just like live through the game by any means you deem like appropriate, but it also challenges you to understand the game and what its true message is going on throughout the entire time. And as I said, at a point in time, this game does have the potential to really tug at your heartstrings if you let it. If you go on saying like, oh, this game's gonna suck, I hate this game, it's stupid, I'm just playing it because Cold Crush said it was amazing and I really love that guy, there's a good percent chance you're not gonna really like get emotionally attached to it. But if you really want to try a game that's really mature, really different from like the standard horror game, plus most games that are two-dimensional don't do this genre, definitely buy this game. It's only $10. What's that, like a full like a large meal at McDonald's, something like that. It's not much. And Jasper Byrne, he's an indie developer. He's, as like most indie developers, I'm sure he's like not the most rich guy ever, not like a giant juggernaut company like Capcom or like EA, although everyone hates EA right now. Boo. He's not like that, and so everything you like do, every time you buy this game or recommend it to someone, it helps him, which is what, you know, I would want if I were like an indie developer. I would really appreciate if people were supporting me in this game. So definitely, this is a game, is a buy. Takes you 4 to 6 hours to beat, and you'll play it more than once, definitely. So go check it out. And don't forget to go back to my blog and read my review. I'm actually just starting up this blog and gonna start doing more reviews for different games. Trying to do like more like current games, but I'm also gonna go back and do like past reviews for games that I personally liked. Check it out at crushreview.blogspot.com.